just a thought, just a thought. It's my opinion, it's just a thought, just a thought. Get out your feelings.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Sharí Nycole. Welcome to another episode of Just a Thought with Sharí Nycole, Season 3. We still rocking and rolling. We're going to come to a close on Season 3 pretty soon. But before we do that, I got a few more great guests on the way, including this one, Melody Shari. And let me tell you something. Anybody that has the name Shari in their name anywhere is always good in my book. But she is one of the producers, executive producer, in fact, and part of the cast of the hit-owned show Love and Marriage Huntsville. We got a lot to talk about. I have never met her before. I'm super excited to talk to her. Been following her story here and there on the show, and I got to know some stuff. I got some questions. So she's an entrepreneur. She's an educator. She is an amazing Black woman doing amazing things. She's also, again, knee deep in the production industry. So much to offer with the show and also outside of it. We'll talk about that and so much more. And also, of course, how she's moving forward following her divorce. So without further ado, Melody Shari, what's going on, sis? It is great to finally meet you. Okay, so you all, like I said, anybody that has the name Shari in their name they're just a great person. I have never met anybody with Shari as their first name or their middle name that just wasn't a dope person. So Melody, let me tell you something, because you don't know this, but I've been following your story for some time now, and I'm not gonna hold you. It be pissing me off sometimes. I have gone through a range of emotions, but one of the things that has always stayed steady for me as it relates to you is this woman is resilient, and so I'm looking forward to just diving into that more with you. I can't believe it. We are in August. We are nearing.
I know, right? It's like the year has gone by so fast.
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. And like, as we're now kind of nearing this fourth quarter, for you as an entrepreneur, as a producer, as an artist, as you do everything just about, what does this time of year mean for you, especially right now?
Well, for one, getting here to this third quarter, looking forward to the end of the year, it makes me or allows me to actually sit back kind of and see where I've hit, what goals I've hit so far this year, and to also be proud of those accomplishments, right? And just kind of rejoice in those moments as I, of course, am mentally preparing for the next year. So I'll give you, for example, I have a trip planned next week for my team where I'm taking them out of the country. And, it's a celebratory thing of just, hey, we just ended the season for Love and Marriage Huntsville. So it's kind of like one of those things that I like to do and give back to them and show my appreciation to them. So definitely a time to reflect and just be thankful, man.
You speak about celebrating yourself, and what I've found is a lot of high-functioning people like yourself have a difficult time patting themselves on the back. For you, where did you find the inclination to do that? Did you see somebody else model that before you, or is that just something you've always naturally been inclined to do? Like, I did my thing. Let's have a good time. Let's turn up. Good job, girl. Pat on the back.
So believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, at one time I used to not do that. At one time it used to be, okay, made this goal, hit it, now what's next, right? I never really just took the time to celebrate reaching those milestones or reaching those goals. And so that's why for me now I can say I do work super hard just to make sure that I am slowing down and that I am saying, good job, girl, you did that, right? But it took me cognitively making that decision, consciously making that decision of saying, look, you need to celebrate every time you reach a goal or you have an accomplishment. And so I just started doing that. And now that's kind of how I move. But I will say I had to change. I had, to change my mindset when it came to, okay, don't just look to what's next so quickly without appreciating and celebrating the moment or the now.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about celebrating, Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's just been a tremendous success on OWN Network, and you have been a major part of that. For you, what is the evolution of the show meant to you, especially considering the fact that you've really been an open book? We've seen your life go through a lot of different changes in the last 6 seasons. So where do you sit now with how the show has grown and how you've grown as well?
Well, for one, I want to say, I'm super thankful. Kudos to right? Oprah Winfrey Network and that entire team. Kudos to the production teams, ITV America, Kingdom Reign. I'm just super thankful, honestly, that, we're even here. You have some shows that come in, they have a one season, one hit, and that's it, right? So I'm always grateful. For me, when I came into the reality TV arena, I literally out the gate was like, if I'm going to do reality TV, I'm going to keep it honest and real, right? And so that is why it was so easy for me, to be an open book and to share the good, the bad, the highs and the lows of my life in every part of my life. Like, I literally had a whole baby on a reality show, on this show, and so went through a divorce on this show. And so I just always felt that as long as I was moving in a way that was authentic, and I was being transparent, that is what the people wanted to see, because that's the real, that is the real. And so for, evolution of the show, I think that overall, right? Of course, we could nitpick a few things, but overall, I feel like just seeing the continuation of showing how relationships, friendships, family, and all of that, marriage, what that looks like, business, what that looks like, the ups and downs of that, I think that is what continues to cause people to tune in.
Let me ask you this question. Hindsight 2020.
Okay.
You've been on both sides of the camera for this show, which is a phenomenal thing. I don't doubt that if somebody said, "Hey, Melody, would you produce this show again?" You'd probably say, "Of course." I want to ask you, hindsight 2020, seeing where your life has gone over these last six seasons, would you be in the cast again? If you looking at how everything's played out now, looking at your life, looking at the woman you are, that you've grown into, somebody approached you with that opportunity again. Go back, hindsight 2020. Would you be in the cast again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being a part of the cast allows you to show more of yourself, which causes you to build your audience, build your brand, right? Causes people to fall in love with you, cause people to want to support you, want to love on you. Whereas behind the camera, because I do have other things I produce behind the camera, whereas behind the camera, you're the producer, right? Really, to be honest with you, things that I work on behind the scenes and behind the camera, I don't even talk that much about, because the spotlight is not mine. The spotlight is whoever it is that's in front of the camera. So, hindsight 2020, I would absolutely, be a part of the cast if I were to do it all over again. It's being a part of the cast and being in front of the camera is what helped me to continue to evolve and become a household name,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I have a lot of friends that are in the reality TV space, and it can be a lot. I know it can be a lot. So, as someone like yourself who has all of these other plates on your table, how do you create that mental, emotional, and spiritual space to be able to still multitask while also being present for the show?
Absolutely. So, one thing about me, I am good at multitasking. So you use the right word, because I'm really good at multitasking. But for me, I take time for myself when I need time for myself. I work hard to ensure that I am emotionally and mentally and spiritually balanced. I work hard to do that. I have times when I may be in my home for days and it's just quiet and there's no noise and there's nothing. And I need that in order to recharge. I need that to rejuvenate. I need that to get in front of that camera and be the melody, right? With all the personality and the energy, right? So I have figured out that, for me, trips, spa days, massage therapy, those walks, talks with nature, all of that work for me. Prayer, like just literally finding the different pieces that come together to make me be the whole person I need to be able to show up every day for work, to show up for my children and my family. And so, I've put in some years, especially after going through a divorce, I have put in some years working on my own healing journey.
I'm glad you look. This is what I'm saying, y'all. I'm telling you, the Sharys of the world, we're amazing, because that's actually where I was going next.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest kind of anchor you've been able to take away from your healing journey over the past several years, keeping in mind what you just talked about?
Absolutely. The biggest anchor for me has been I would say being okay with being alone.
Mm.
A big piece of my healing journey has been literally me doing something that I'm not used to doing, which is I've literally spent more time with myself the past couple of years than I've spent my whole life.
Mm.
But that has been the anchor for me in this, because I learned to only depend on God. I learned to appreciate and feel his presence stronger than I ever have. But that's only because I would be alone without the noise, without the outside noise, without the extra, right? So learning to be okay with being alone, and I don't mean lonely, but learning to be okay with being alone has definitely been an anchor for me in my healing journey.
Yeah. Who taught you strength? Because I just remember watching the show so many times, and I'm like, how is she not gonna break? She just not gonna break. She just there's a strength about you, and it's difficult to be strong anyway. But then being strong in front of cameras and in front of the world and having to deal with everybody else's opinions and controversy and all these different things, that's a whole nother level of strength.
Yeah.
Where is there somebody in your life that you saw move through life in the way that you've been able to, or is this just something naturally and innately that you carry?
I think it's a combination, right? So I think innately God has given all of us the strength we need to come through and get past anything. But then, of course, also my mother, my mom, I was raised in a single parent household. I saw my mom work multiple jobs at a time. I've seen my mom go through things and still come out being gracious, being pleasant, being kind, still being a giving person. And I've seen her, like when I graduated high school, my senior year, she had gone back to college during my high school career and got her associate's degree. So my mom graduated the same year I graduated with her associate's degree, me with my high school diploma. So I've literally witnessed my mom's strength for sure. And so for me, modeling that while also, like I said, pulling on the strength that's innately within from above, it has worked out very well. Very well.
How do you insulate your children from, some of the tomatoes sometimes that people throw, not even necessarily at you, at your ex-husband? We all know, he be making me mad too. Sorry, it's my podcast, I can say it. So how do you insulate them and protect them from that while still, being able to co-parent, still them understanding, like, this is your father, there's a level of respect that has to be there. Like, how have you told that line and balanced that out?
Pretty much basically what you just said, right? At the end of the day, the goal should be for the children to know, hey, you should love both parents. You should care about both parents. And I think for me, I don't allow my kids to be on social media. Like I'm not for them. They're 11, 10, 7, and 3. So for me, all the YouTubing and, of course, sometimes kids gonna be kids. They're gonna find out stuff anyway. They're gonna go on YouTube anyway. But I try hard. Like I have one computer here in this house that's in a common area. And that's the computer. Right. Yeah, no, it ain't. So I do try to put parameters in place as much as I can. Like I'll give you an example. The other day there's still very much kids. Yesterday I saw my 11-year-old doing her Barbie doll's hair. Now, this day and age, right? It put a smile on my face because I'm like, I'm gonna go buy some TikToks, because this day and age, 11-year-olds are doing so many other things. And so just the fact of keeping them kids, you know what I'm saying? Keeping them kids, making sure they're really still getting that childhood experience, even though, yes, my parents are on television, still keeping them just living their life and being children, right? And that includes, like, you ain't just about to go on YouTube looking up stuff about your mom and daddy. So I try hard to, make sure I insulate all that, but it can be tough.
Yeah. I've had a few conversations with some friends of mine. Most of my friends, women friends, I don't know why. I don't know, because I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and so I'm always searching for big sisters, but most of them are about 10 years older than me, the close ones. And one of the things that many of them have said, because they're high functioning, successful like yourself, strong mothers, married, all these things, they're like, yeah, I'm a giver, I do this and I'm this and I pour so much, but I don't know who's my person, right? And they always say it's not a slight to their spouse, it's just who's that person that is able to pour in a way of reciprocity into me. So with that being said, for you, with all that you do, with this superwoman, super mom cape that you wear every day, who's your person?
It's not just one person.
That's
Like,
good.
yeah, no, it's not just one person. I can really say, I can name Dawn, my mother, Brittany, Lauren, Jay. Like, these are people who pour into me regularly, right? These are people who hit me up and just pour into me sometimes. And then, of course, I have an amazing support group by way of social media who are always DMing me positive things and always showing their love and their support. So it's not just one person. I've been blessed, you know, where I do have several people who genuinely love on me, who genuinely pour into me. And that's the only way I know that's the only way that I'm able to do all that I do and move how I move and stay in high spirits and enjoy life, because I do feel like I'm in the stage now where I'm enjoying life. Like, if I ain't never lived before, I feel like I'm living now. Like, I be telling my friends, I be like, child, I know I'm about to be 40 soon, honey, but I feel like I'm 20. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm 20, I'm going backwards, okay? But I laugh and joke about it, but I really feel like that. Like, when I say my soul feels like that, my soul, it ain't got nothing to do with the look. It ain't me looking in the mirror saying, girl, you look 20. It ain't that. It's what I feel on the inside. And I'm like, this is nice.
I love that. With that in mind, how do you now view marriage and how do you now view divorce?
Absolutely. So it's going to be good. I still think marriage is beautiful. Let me say that. I still think marriage is beautiful. And I've said that, you know, the divorce and everything. I've said that multiple times. Marriage is still very beautiful with the right person, right? So fortunately, my situation didn't cause me to just get this, you know, sour feeling pertaining to marriage. Do I want to get married again? If it happens, but it's not a must. I've done it, right? I've had this grand love, you know, where I had, you know, got married 22, had children and had a successful, flourishing business and all of that in the marriage. So I've had that grand love experience. So getting married again is not at the top of my priorities. Divorce, how I view divorce, it's one of those things, it's like a death. It really is. And I know we hear people say that all the time, but it really is, because when you think about death, right, when someone passes away, it doesn't just affect the direct family members. It affects friends. It affects everybody, right? Yeah. And so I've literally witnessed this divorce affect everybody. Everybody. And I feel like everybody who was close to us or who are close to us have had their pieces of mourning when it comes to seeing that our marriage is really dissolved, it's really done, right? Because so many people look to us as, you know, kind of like, oh, that's goals, that's marriage goals, right? And so a lot of people have been, you know, saddened by the divorce. So divorce really is like a death. It is.
One thing that's not dying is your bag, okay?
It's so late.
Because let me tell y'all something. Melody Sharí ain't skipped a beat. As far as entrepreneurship is concerned, you're just a powerhouse. And you know what has been the key, like the formula for you to just continue to leave an amazing financial footprint, not only for yourself but for your children as well, because I know generational wealth is important to you too. It
sure is. So one of the main things is, for me, has always been to work in what I'm passionate about and do what I'm passionate about. You know, they say if you do what you love, it's like if you do what you love, it's never a day of work, right? And so doing things that I love, that I genuinely love, that I'm genuinely passionate about, not just throwing things out there to see what sticks, but actually doing what I enjoy. Like, I could pack my skincare orders all day long. I love skincare, you know? And so teaching, my degree is in education. I've created over 700 entrepreneurs in the past 3 years, teaching them by way of Zoom all over the country. I have students all over the country, you know, who've been in my master class. Like, I love love teaching. I have a passion for teaching. Even though I left the classroom after 3.5 years to focus on my entrepreneurial goals, I still love teaching. So everything that I'm doing, they're all things that I enjoy. They're all things that I'm passionate about. And so that makes it easy.
I want to speak to the teaching piece, because you kind of just, I built 700 entrepreneurs and I taught them. I'm like, wait a minute.
Mhm.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
millions and millions and millions of dollars that you've
Yep.
helped sow seeds into the ground and have
Yep.
helped people reap for themselves and their families.
Absolutely.
What level of satisfaction do you get from teaching that maybe producing or even your skincare line doesn't give you?
I think that for me, being able to, because most of my students haven't really heard of property preservation. And so a lot of them come in, and most of them are Black women. And so they come in and they know they're getting into property and maybe a little bit of construction. So there's kind of a fear there at first, right? I love gaining the feeling of knowing I removed that fear from them, while instilling the fact that you can do anything and you've got this, and I'm holding your hand through this. Yeah.
Is there anybody that taught you a lesson that you're still passing on to your students?
I would say, because I get so many, I've had so many people pour some wonderful things into me. One thing that I would say is that an old friend used to say all the time is, let God be God, right? Let God be God. And so for my students, whether or not a subcontractor works out for them that they recruited and they're, feeling down like, okay, what am I going to do? Or maybe there was a particular contract they wanted to get and they didn't get that one, they got another one. It's let God be God. Divine timing is perfect timing. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I would say too that I've learned. Divine timing is perfect timing. You don't have to force nothing. You ain't got to go out of your way. When I tell you stuff will fall right in your lap, when it's meant and it's in the divine timing, it will fall right in your lap.
As a Black woman watching you, there's a level of like empowerment that I get. Again, just watching you move through the ebbs and flows of the industry and all that you've shown us about your personal life. Keeping that in mind, is there one thing you really, or maybe more, that you want Black women to take away from just watching your journey, not only on television, but in entrepreneurship as well?
Absolutely. Let me tell y'all this, Black women. Since you said, that's what you said. You said the Black women.
That's what I said.
That's what you said, Shari. Let me tell you something. We literally possess, whether you know it or not, you possess a strength that is so unstoppable that it puts fear in other people. It's there. You got to tap into it. You got to tap into it daily. You have to reaffirm yourself daily, reassure yourself daily, but I promise you it's there. And whenever you start moving and operating in that strength, when you understand, I like to say, when you enter a room, you don't get fear for the demons flee.
Come on now.
Nowhere. When you enter the room, the demons flee. That's the kind of strength and power that we have. But we have to tap into it because society and history has beaten us down so much and tried to show us something so different that we're weak. Tapping into that strength is really where the power is. We have it. We were born with it.
Look, I didn't ask Melody Shari to preach, but she preaching, so I figured I'd just let her go ahead and
I'm honest. You asked me the question. I'm just being, hey, I'm pouring out to you how I move and how I think now. I'm giving you the sauce. Okay?
I love good honesty. I will never say, please don't be honest with me. And I want you to be honest with me about some of the things that you have coming down the line. I know that you spoke about your skincare line. You're a creative, so I'm sure you got some other stuff brewing as well. And of course, Love and Marriage Huntsville is going absolutely nowhere. So what can we look forward to from you as we move through this fourth quarter of the year and into next year?
Well, I have a movie coming out in the next few weeks called Marriage Mansion. So I'm super excited about that coming out. It was so fun to shoot. We shot it in Atlanta. It was super, super cool and good movie too. So y'all get ready for Marriage Mansion. Marriage Mansion comes out in a few weeks. I literally just launched my face scrub and lip scrub, which has been doing amazing. Like the sales have been crazy. It's been so I'm always working on products, right? To continue. My thing is, you see me, you hear my story, you see what I've gone through, you see how I've come out, and that helps you with your inner beauty, right? Finding your strength, finding, you know what, I'm resilient, all of those good things, but I also love working on the outer beauty too. So we're being beautified from the inside out. So I'm always coming up with other things. With my chemist, I have a Black female chemist. She's been a chemist for 18 years.
Wow.
And so we're always formulating and coming up with some great products that actually work. Of course, I'm teaching a master class that I just started last week. So I've got about 90 students in this class.
Wow.
Yeah. So I teach that on Mondays. But I'm just continuing to move forward in my leisure time, go in the studio, make my music, which is another outlet for me. So I enjoy doing that. And loving on my babies. But it's almost the holidays, girl. That's what I'm thinking about. Every time I tell the kids Thanksgiving and Christmas coming, boss baby says, and don't forget Halloween, Mom. What you gonna be for Halloween? And I'm like, girl, yes, Halloween too. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So getting ready for the holidays and just having, this time of the year, I love fall. It's my favorite season, fall. And so it's just a nice, peaceful, calm, happy time for me. Period.
Yeah. I want to ask you before I let you go about the music. I don't want to just skip over that.
Okay.
For you, when did you fall in love with music? And also when we think about just where music is right now, where do you fit artistically in the scope of is it R&B? Is it pop? Like what are the vibes? What are the vibes?
Well, the vibe is R&B. The vibe is R&B. And I literally, my first performance was when I was 5. And I performed for a TV telethon, like Christmas telethon event. And so I've been singing since I was 5, performing since I was 5. And I've always loved music. I played flute, played the piano, keyboard, all that good stuff. And so now being able to be in a position to where I can go into the studio, I can write, I can, I've been blessed to connect with some wonderful writers and producers too, and just getting in there and sharing my story by way of music, and it's received a little bit differently when you do it that way. I've learned, but it is an amazing outlet, and so I do enjoy it's hard to get it in because I do so much. Yeah. But when I get it in, it's always a vibe. It's always a vibe.
So I know that you got yourself on repeat when you cutting records, you in the car, I'm sure, listening and all that good stuff. But in addition to your own music, who's the artist you have right now on repeat, can't get enough of their album or their single or what have you? Who's that artist?
I like her. Now what I was listening to today, girl, was Trey Songz Fumble. Trey Songz Fumble, okay? But I like her. Of course, I like Beyonce, of course, right? And I also like listening to Jacqueline Carr. She has some, gospel music out that I really, really enjoy. And a lot of times when I'm packing, I'll have some of her songs just on repeat, it's a whole vibe. It's a whole, I believe in energy, and I believe in us making sure that the energy is right with whatever we do, because that's what we're sending out. So when I'm packing my orders, I like to have a certain energy in my packing room. So, yeah.
Well, you had a certain energy with me. I'm so grateful for the time. I've been looking forward to this. So I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And I also want to make sure that people who aren't following you for whatever reason can get a chance to love themselves a little more and do it right now. So how can people tap into this great energy and follow you on your social media platforms?
Absolutely. So follow me on social media at Melody, MELODY SHOLT, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Well, Twitter is something else now, but anyway, y'all know.
And X. Follow her. Follow her on X. Follow her on X. Melody, Sharí, thank you so much. Thank you for your example. I wish you continued success in all your endeavors, and enjoy that trip as well, and enjoy celebrating yourself.
And is.
It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Just my opinion. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Get out your feelings. It's just a thought.